Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, we regret to inform you that the joke at the beginning of this episode has been delayed to 2025. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including a bunch of delays. And then on Thursday, we are determining Metroid's greatest hits, but for real this time. Mark, in the meantime, how's it going?
It's going great. Patrick, your work setup,
Yeah.
how concerned are you about your posture, about like the correct placement of your hands?
Ooh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
are you a posture pal? Are you good?
Or am I a posture enemy? An enemy of posture?
An enemy of posture?
Here's the thing. I like to move around a little bit when I'm when I'm at work, when I'm in my office, I have a separate mechanical keyboard, right? So I do think that when I'm typing a lot on my laptop, that's bad, right? Because I feel like I'm kind of hunched over, the screen is
Mhm.
low, the keyboard's got no force feedback, and I just feel like the whole thing is me in like a stress position for however long I'm typing. When I'm in the office, I feel like it's better. But I honestly can't say that it's something I think too much about, which means I'm probably being bad.
But at least you're not hurting. Because you would
Now that's an interesting question.
or you are.
Am I hurting? I mean, tell me about your setup. Are you concerned with?
So I would say that ergonomically, my setup is fine.
Yeah, and
yet,
what do we mean by that ergonomically?
well, you know how like the position in which you hold, you know, the mouse
Uh-huh.
or you type on the keyboard,
Yeah.
like it affects the way that you feel,
Sure, yes.
right?
Okay.
And like how your feet are placed on the ground and like all
Right.
that kind of stuff. 'Cause
My feet are currently full. My legs are folded and my feet are under me at the moment.
Yeah, see, this is my problem. Is I think like my setup technically is ergonomic,
Uh-huh.
and then I like destroy that
Right.
by holding my body in strange positions
Yeah.
unintentionally. I think I
Mhm.
just get like bored of putting my feet on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, hey, yes. I mean,
Maybe I'm just
This is-
crazy.
this is
a
what
little
happened-
Footloose.
this is what happened with Ariel, and she decided to go back to the sea. I think I've never seen the sequels to Little Mermaid.
I think that so in the second one she has a daughter,
Uh-huh.
and not Ariel, Ursula has a crazy sister.
Right.
Sebastian calls her crazy, I think.
Oh,
But
you don't want
she-
you don't want to buy into that judgment call. Is what
well,
you're
I'm
saying.
just saying, like, you know, would Ursula also be labeled as crazy? I don't know.
You know, in the Little Mermaid NES game, she just decides to go back into the water.
Oh, I mean, good for her.
Yeah. She can just do that.
Yeah,
And then at the end, Triton just turns her back into a human.
must be nice.
If you would like to turn us back into humans, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you are supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, Mark and I grow fishtails and can go back into the ocean, or you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries. We are currently making our way through NCS Arcade.
That's right. This is a series where Patrick and I are playing games that are available on Nintendo Switch Online or Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack that we have never beaten before. This month, we are going to be playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2
That's
for the
right.
Sega Genesis.
A Sega Genesis game is making it on here. Mark, I'm going to use my Genesis controller for this. 3 buttons, baby. They all
Yeah.
do the same thing. in a Sonic game, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't own one of the Genesis controllers. for the NES
Well,
Online.
what are you going to do?
I guess I'm going to play with my Joy-Con.
What?
I know. Maybe I'll play with my Nintendo 64 controller.
I mean, yeah,
just for kicks.
That's a great idea, of course. I mean, why not? It's got a D-pad.
Uh-huh.
Pretty good D-pad, frankly.
Yeah.
Better than the Genesis controller D-pad. And all the buttons do the same thing.
Yeah, I'd have to dig it out. That's probably the one thing to prevent me from doing it.
And charge it.
And charge it.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, we'll be talking about that for April, but that episode will be coming out in May because of scheduling conflicts.
Yes, that's right. And if you would like to yell at us about that, you can get in our Discord. All you gotta do is email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and we will send you an invitation. You can be in that Discord where people are talking about the show. They're talking about Nintendo, talking about Splatoon a lot, because Splatoon is always something new going on there. So if you are interested in that, email us. We will let you in. Mark, reminder to everyone that if you're interested in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles source book, this is a book that I wrote. Issues 1 and 2 are out in stores right now. Issue 3 comes out in June. Very excited about this thing. It's very cool. It's me writing a bunch about the IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If that is of interest to you, please check it out at your local comic book store. Mark, are you ready to get into what we've been playing this week?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first, I picked up a handful of demos after the Indie World Showcase last week, and I want to talk about those first. Cause first, I want to set something up. I want to pin something. Okay, Princess Peach Showtime. I finished it. I've beaten it. Mark, you've also beaten it.
Yes, I have.
So after we talk about the other stuff we've been playing, then I want to have a conversation about Princess Peach Showtime that is skippable if people have not beaten it yet.
Perfect.
And don't want to be spoiled.
Because I've been holding on to an observation.
Yes.
Until we're able to have this spoiler conversation. So
right.
I'm excited for this.
So I'm taking a pin and I'm sticking it in the wall on something that says Princess Peach Showtime.
Yes, we are going to talk about it.
We are going to talk about it today.
We won't forget. We won't end the segment before we've done this.
That's right. And we also won't just like barge into it without saying, okay, now we're talking about the ending of Princess Peach Showtime. So there were two games in the Indie World Showcase that I was like, I'm very interested in that. I want to know more. That had demos. One is the ANTONBLAST, the sort of Wario Land like, and it's pretty good. There's an issue of like too much information happening. It has a very like 16-bit / 32-bit / Game Boy Advance aesthetic to it. But with just like so much happening and so many pixels that are like shrinking and growing, that just feels like a bit more chaotic than I want from like a platformer, especially a platformer where you end up like moving through the world pretty fast. You kind of just need to be able to like decode whatever's happening on screen as quickly as possible. So, and there were a lot of the context sensitive prompts where it's like, here's how you jump into the background. Here's how you like slide under this thing, where the prompts would like appear on screen, but sometimes they would be like obscured by things. The demo starts with like a little message being like, heads up, this is just the demo version. We'll be ironing some things out. It feels very much like something that needs to be ironed out for me to be like genuinely excited about it. But on the whole, like I also can't say no to Wario Land style gameplay. So like, I don't know. I'm a little torn on ANTONBLAST.
Even based on the trailer, what you're saying doesn't surprise me.
Yes.
It's like visually chaotic. But honestly, I was a little bit surprised that they had a demo out now in April when the game isn't coming out until November. So hopefully that is a good sign.
Something we wouldn't stop talking about during our recap of the Indie World Showcase. November is so far away.
So far away. And so hopefully they are using this opportunity to take all of that feedback to improve it, because otherwise why put out a demo in April for a game that's not coming out till November?
Yeah, a great, well, and also maybe just to like build up some like kind of hype for it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's got a very like, it feels like it is a like a 32x game of like a Nicktoon show. You know what I mean? Like there's probably like a Rocco's Modern Life game for the 32x add-on to the Genesis that looks and plays exactly like this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lukewarm on that. I also played the Europa demo.
Talk about going from chaotic to potentially very serene.
Yes. So Europa is the game that had a very like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom / Visions of Mana aesthetic to it. This sort of like one thing I didn't appreciate from the trailers is that it is even more painterly than that. Like it's being much more experimental in the sort of like texture overlay that it has to make it always look like it's something of like an impressionist painting. And felt pretty good. I do like the controls weren't as precise as I want from like a 3D platforming game, but like I don't know, everything else is sort of nailing it for me. I think I'm going to be very interested in this game when it actually does come out. Yeah, it seems very cool and good, and I liked what I played of it.
Yeah, that's nice. Because I feel like it looked so great.
Yes,
but hard to tell if it would be any fun to play.
It's definitely fun to play, like for sure fun to play, and fun to kind of like string together, because this is the one where you're like a kid on a moon of Jupiter, Europa specifically, that has like a water jetpack. And there's no telling whether this water jetpack has a soul or not, of course. But it like chaining together his ability to like kind of glide and like boost himself up with that, and he also can like hover, and like there's a thing with his like there's all these things that you like can build on top of each other to actually get more height, get more distance, and that's all very fun.
I've been playing Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, which I bought this collection when it released earlier this year, I want to say.
There's no way to know.
Yeah, it all runs together, but it's been a while since I purchased it, and I didn't play these games when they released originally. My memory is that people are not as high on these games as they are. Like Ace Attorney fans don't like them as much as like the Phoenix Wright games.
Yeah.
Probably because they have a new cast of characters. And so I don't know. I guess I was going into it expecting them to be less good than the Phoenix Wright games, but that has not been my experience so far.
Are they just different?
I mean, even like the game itself feels so familiar, but it is a new cast of characters plus some returning favorites.
Yeah.
And so maybe that was like the hard transition in the moment, was going from the characters you know so well, and then now it's new characters plus some remixes of existing characters.
Like going from season 1 to season 2 of The Wire.
Yeah, exactly. And then maybe with time and distance, it's easier for me to see how they're both fun in their own way. But really, it just feels like more Ace Attorney, with new characters, and I'm enjoying it more than I enjoyed the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which I had a really hard time getting into. That one, that was the one that came out.
That's the like throwback, like the
with Herlock Sholmes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had a really hard time. I was excited for that one because those had never been localized before, but I had a hard time getting into it. But Apollo Justice, much more my speed.
So we talked about this last week, but there are 3 games in this collection?
There's 3 games in the collection.
That's confirmation, folks. We weren't sure last time. So are you just making your way through the first one now?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And having a blast.
I'm having a really good time. I guess we'll see what happens. I probably won't mainline all 3 games just because that's a lot of these like Ace Attorney games in a row. But we'll see.
How much time do you think you've put into the one that you're playing right now?
Probably not that long. Maybe like 2 or 3 hours.
Okay, and how long do you expect one of these games to run you?
I would guess that it's going to take me like between 7 and 10.
Okay, all right. So you're not like nowhere in the game.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, and keep updating us on your Apollo Justice
journey.
Apollo. Yeah, whatever. Mark, I'm pulling the pin.
We are ready. This is the warning. We're going to talk about Princess Peach Showtime.
So I finished Princess Peach Showtime last night. I was working on a deadline for Turtles, which I have traditionally gotten into my editor at like midnight the day that it's due. And this time I finished around 10:30.
There you go.
And I was like, hey, I'm getting better at this. 90 minutes to spare. And I was like, I'm going to go. I'm going to go finish up Princess Peach Showtime. And broad strokes for me, the more I played the game and the deeper I got into it, the more I really hated it. Like, really was bored with the game and like resented the time I was spending with it.
Did any of your feelings on the transformations change?
I forget everything we said about the transformations, other than I don't think I was harsh enough on the detective.
Okay, yeah, the detective one's really bad.
The detective one is really bad, and so boring. And you can't even like make it better by distracting yourself with something as you're playing. Like you can't listen to a podcast because you got to read the stuff that these little idiots are saying to you so you can solve their inane riddles.
Yeah, the riddles are dumb.
And the puzzles too. There's one in the where you are saving the Sparkla, the detective Sparkla, where there are 4 big like headed statues, and there's like a key statue that is like showing you a position that the statue can be in, and all you have to do is turn all 4 statues to be facing the same way. It's like an anti-puzzle.
Well, I feel like the Sparkla one, where you're saving the Sparkla for the detective, is the perfect example of why the detective one is so bad. Because compared to all the other like Sparkla things, this one is just it's nothing. It's
nothing. And also, like, I sort of hate that you see a treasure chest. She's a detective, okay? You use a magnifying glass on a treasure chest.
Well, and not only that, but you have to go through the motion of like investigating the treasure chest before you can open it. Yeah.
And it says like, it looks like it's a treasure chest. Should we open it?
The detective one is just
bad.
real bad.
It's real bad. So however we ranked it, it should be lower.
Yeah. I think we ranked it the lowest.
I would also say that is it the Power Ranger one? Which one is that?
It's not Super Peach, but
Mighty Peach. Mighty Peach. I also think that one is bad.
I think that one's bad too.
It's just like there's something about the sense of contact in it that doesn't feel like real or weighty or meaningful. I had a really hard time. Not a hard time. It's all very easy to get through. But I just had a hard time having fun at all with it. But what was your observation about the end of Princess Peach Showtime?
Okay. The game is developed by Goodfeel.
Yes.
Who had developed a Kirby game, Epic Yarn.
Yep.
And
a game I like.
And we talked about how, maybe, because when we were doing the rankings and all that kind of stuff, neither of us had beaten the game yet. And so we were saying, maybe there is some sort of like eldritch horror thing at the end, like there is for Kirby games often. And I would say
the answer is
there kind of is.
There kind of is. It's the same horror that's been haunting the theater the whole time, though.
Yes, but it like transforms into a more horrific form.
And then Peach transforms into Radiant Peach,
which I guess
just makes it a Star Fox game.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So actually, yes, canonically in the future, if we rank Star Fox games, we'll have to have Princess Peach Showtime in there as well.
Just the parentheses, just Radiant transformation.
But we had also in the episode when we were talking about the transformations, we were saying these are all the ones we know about. Maybe there's one at the end that we should rank as well. And I don't even know if I would consider it to be its own like transformation.
It's an incoherent idea, right? Like she basically she gets a kind of a Rosalina dress that is shaped like Starla's dress, right? And then she just like shoots stars at, like she's like she's in Star Fox, but also like she's just doing Rosalina at this point, which is weird and disappointing.
Yeah, that's how, I didn't resent the game like you.
I really like when the credits rolled and it was like showing me like pictures of like stuff that was like happening after, like just a terrible like storytelling choice to like show like, oh, here's them like putting the theater back together or whatever. I was like, I hate this. I'm bored and I did not have fun the last like hour and a half that I was playing it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it as much as you did, but it just feels like such a missed opportunity.
Yes.
To do something really cool with Princess Peach. And giving her her own game, her own franchise. Like, I'm not excited at the idea of playing a sequel
No.
to Princess Peach Showtime, and that's disappointing.
Did you go back into the game after you beat it?
No. I mean, I ran around a little bit
Yeah.
and saw that, like, some new things opened up or there were new challenges and, like, that sort of thing, but
Yeah, and you can spend the sparkle stuff to like
to add
decorations,
decorations.
but it's just like putting the decorations up.
Yeah,
Like you can't like there's no like you're not decorating the space, you're just like toggling them on and off.
yeah, there's
basically.
like 6 or whatever decorations that you can buy.
Yeah.
And then when you buy them, they're pre-placed. It's like you are buying this ribbon
Yeah.
like decoration and it's going to go on this column.
Right.
You don't have any choice.
And there's no like you don't get to choose like 3 different kinds of like there's
or
no
the color.
There's no sense that you are actually decorating the space. All you're doing is paying for the theats to decorate the space.
Yeah. I didn't hate it, but definitely a missed opportunity. Definitely it's like back to the drawing board, right?
Yeah.
You had like Super Peach.
Super Princess Peach, yeah.
And now you have Princess Peach Showtime, and let's take another shot. Let's get a Nintendo first party development team on a Princess Peach game.
Yeah.
And let's see what we can do.
I also early in the game, Peach loses her crown, right? Like as part of the opening like cinematic stuff. And I was hoping that at the end, because they always like set up each transformation as Mighty Peach, Detective Peach, Sword Fighter Peach, and I was really hoping that the final transformation would be Princess Peach.
That would be fun, and also that would have been one of those things that we praised Nintendo games for, where setup and delivery, and there was none of that. Like, I should have seen it coming, but I didn't.
Right.
Because they did this in such a clever way.
Yeah.
There's none of that at all.
Well, I feel like it does that a dozen times because each of the transformations feel like those sparkle missions at the end should feel like a culmination of everything you've learned with the abilities going forward, but there's nothing to learn with them. So like when there's this like third version of it that's like the ultimate challenge, it's not like there's just nothing to put together.
Yeah.
Like there's no heightening from one beat to the next. So when you get to the end of the structure, there's like nothing there to pay off.
Yeah, I had more fun with some of them than others. You know, I think when you're doing the wall running as the ninja,
Yeah.
that can be fun. And I thought the thief one, like all the auto scrolling stuff, I thought it can be pretty fun.
Yeah. Sure.
But
The game
else,
is not without its pleasures.
Yeah.
Like I think there are things to like in it. But yeah, just as a cohesive package, and just like it's frustrating how much the game seems to not care about your time. I started to really resent when they would just like hide one of the sparkle things like around a corner or like off in a direction that you don't need to go, because like it's just boring to go over there. Like there's no it's one of those things that made me like question the very like functioning of video games, where you're like, I like exploring in video games, I don't like exploring in this one.
Mhm.
Maybe exploring is bad. You know what I mean? It just felt like a real bummer for me. But yeah, so that's Princess Peach Showtime. Where you think we do not rank Radiant Peach? We're not we're throwing that out.
It, for whatever reason, it just didn't feel like a transformation.
Yeah,
to
sure.
me. I don't know. I mean, I would rank it, I guess, somewhere in the middle. If we were going to do it as a transformation,
Yeah.
you know, it's not my least favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Detective.
yes, but it's definitely not my favorite. So yeah, it would just slide it in somewhere with like,
who even knows? Something in the middle.
Mermaid, probably like mermaid.
Mermaid? Is it like mermaid?
Yeah. Ice skating Peach, somewhere in there.
The ice skating stuff. Mermaid, ice skating, and detective, I feel like were all bottom tier experiences for me.
Well, mermaid was another one where I didn't feel like it really heightened or went anywhere. Or ice skating, same exact thing.
Yes.
Where it didn't feel like it had anywhere to go.
Yeah. Yes. Oh well, okay. All right. This is how we feel about Princess Peach Showtime. Sort of can't believe it didn't go anywhere. Which I think is probably why I started to resent it as I kept playing. All right, we are done talking about Princess Peach Showtime. Mark, let's get into. Oh, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Today, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants is released on Switch.
Okay, but I can't.
No. You're turtled out?
I'm turtled out.
This is your Tetris 99 tickets Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Look, I'll come back. I'll come back to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But right now, on the other end of a deadline of like 4 consecutive intense deadlines, I need a break from turtle stuff. Mind you, I'm going to C2E2 this weekend. I'm sure that I'm going to participate in turtle stuff while I'm there. So I'm a liar, but yeah, if I check out TMNT Arcade Wrath of the Mutants, it'll be in like a week or 2.
Also today, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is released. So this is
thank you.
The Kickstarter game, the game that was kickstarted.
Kickstarted.
Yeah. Kickstarted.
On Kickstarter.
From the director/creator of the Suikoden series, which is a classic Konami RPG series.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back in 2020, maybe? And then in 2022, there was a like prologue game that was not developed by these same developers, but is in that universe, kind of priming the pump for the release of 100 Heroes.
A little bit of a Bloodstained Curse of the Moon situation.
Yes. And so this game is out now. And the reception for it, I would say, has been okay. But the Switch seems to have technical issues.
Yeah, not a surprise, I guess.
And so, yeah, I wonder if, I don't know, they were hoping that new Nintendo hardware would be out by the time, that this game was being released. And so they would be able to take advantage of that, but that is not the case. But yeah, when this game or the spin-off game, Rising, came out, we have previously been trying to figure out like how all the pieces came together.
Right.
But now 100 Heroes, the actual game that was kickstarted on Kickstarter, is available now.
All right.
On Wednesday, Patrick, you highlighted Puss in Boots Perfect Adventures.
I mostly just wanted to A, shout out the name, and B, note that it is coming out also on Wednesday, the same day as Disney Dreamlight Valley, a Rift in Time expansion pass Act 2, The Spark of Imagination, which is just to say that we've got like Disney and Illumination going like head to head here. Or DreamWorks? DreamWorks. I take it back. But just
all owned by Universal now. It's all just kind of like
that's
one.
a great point.
Like,
yes.
What's the difference between the two?
And honestly, if I'm being like wholly honest, I just meant to put in bold the Disney Dreamlight Valley. Spark of Imagination. Do you think that includes Figment in Disney Dreamlight Valley?
Interesting. I would like it. That'd be fun if. I'm saying this as if I have picked up the game.
Right.
You know what? I'm calling it. I don't think you and I are ever going to pick up this game.
We will talk about that later. Next week, we're talking about that.
Okay.
Believe you me, we're talking about that next week.
And then on Thursday, April 25th, another Crab's Treasure is releasing. We most recently saw this last week in the Indie World Showcase.
And when we were talking about it, we were like, wait a minute. When did we see this thing last? I feel like we just saw it.
Right, but the only time in my brief looking it up that I could see was that it had been announced at an Indie World Showcase in 2022. But that's so crazy.
Yeah, could we really be thinking like this just happened, but it happened 2 years ago? And yeah, that could absolutely be the case. However, it was in the mini direct partner showcase from the end of February. So like they're putting this thing in showcases in it's consecutive months, basically.
What does another Crab's Treasure have over Nintendo?
Yeah, that's right. What information do you have? Tell us.
Maybe at the next regular direct, Shigeru Miyamoto is going to have like a little segment And
Right.
he's going
There's
to be
a
like,
crab on his shirt.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We'll find out that this is actually a Miyamoto pet project.
Right, and that he's been playing like a crab walk on his phone.
Uh-huh.
And we get to see where he's been walking. All right, well that's everything that's coming out this week. Mark, is there anything on here that you're going to be picking up or are interested in?
I don't think so.
Even though we find ourselves in a little bit of like a downtime, right?
Right.
Yeah, there's just like nothing here that I'm like, I got to pick that up and play it.
Yeah, same.
All right, well, Mark, let's close out the new releases. Which brings us to a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I'll talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we are giving ourselves a challenge that we have given ourselves in the past, but so much time has elapsed that the challenge now feels totally different.
Yeah, so I was what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to list the Marvel movies,
The MCU movies.
In order. And the reason this has been on my mind is because the Deadpool and Wolverine trailer,
Yes.
the newest trailer was released just recently, and it made me realize that I used to be able to rattle off all the Marvel movies
Yeah.
in order, like no question.
Right.
I just knew it. And now I really don't think that's the case.
Right. I think it'll start easy, become hard, and then we won't be able to do it.
Yeah. This is just knowledge that I used to have that is now lost to time.
Yes. We start with
Iron Man.
So how do we consider Hulk here?
We don't count it, but we do count the Incredible Hulk.
Yes, that is of course what I meant.
Yeah.
And that comes first.
No.
Does it not?
The Incredible Hulk came after Iron Man, for sure.
You're sure? For sure you say. Doesn't Tony Stark show up in I guess this is fuel for your thing. No wait. Who is there someone in the stinger of Incredible Hulk? Okay, this is starting hard.
I promise you.
Yeah, okay.
It's the Incredible Hulk is after Iron Man.
Okay.
That much I know to be true.
Okay. And then Iron Man 2.
Yeah, yep.
And then after Iron Man 2 is Thor.
Yes. And then
Captain America.
Captain America, the first Avenger.
That's right. And then Avengers.
Yes.
Like that's a little bit the sort of,
yes,
synthesis there of going from Captain America, like the stinger of Captain America, where he's like awake in the modern day, to Avengers. That could be a scene from Avengers. Maybe Joss Whedon even directed it.
And then Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3 comes out that Christmas afterwards. It's got a kid in it.
Thor 2.
Yep, Thor: The Dark World, which you and I saw together at the Cinerama Dome at midnight. I fell asleep during it.
In 3D.
In 3D.
Lest we forget.
Okay, now, where does Guardians slot in here, or is Civil War not Civil War, Winter Soldier?
I think Guardians is before Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So I'm going to put down Guardians.
I actually am not sure about that. I think Winter Soldier came first because, again, you and I saw Winter Soldier together.
Yeah.
At like an early screening.
Yep.
And I think we had been beaten down a little bit by Thor and Iron Man before, that we were like not super excited for it, but left the theater like buzzing. And I feel like if Guardians had come out before, that we would have had higher expectations for Winter Soldier.
Okay, I believe that. My memory for Guardians is that it felt like they didn't show a trailer for a long time. And so we were waiting for like, maybe it was for Winter Soldier to clear the deck.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
And then, okay, we'll go with that. We'll go with that. I mean, we're going to have to,
we're not getting that far right now, and we're about to run out of time.
Yeah. Can we even, well, we got through, Okay.
After so Winter Soldier, Guardians, and then Age of Ultron, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. And after Age of Ultron is the first Ant-Man.
Yes.
which again we saw together in the theater.
Uh-huh.
We saw a lot of these movies together.
Yep.
But after Ant-Man, I start to get is this Doctor Strange after Ant-Man?
Civil War is before Doctor Strange, right? Because Spider-Man's introduced before Doctor Strange.
Jesus. Yeah.
I think Civil War is first.
This becomes like a weird little mess.
Oh, wait,
no.
wait, hold on.
Yeah, all right.
Civil War and then Doctor Strange. That's where we'll end it. And now I'm going to look it up and let's see how we did. Okay. Iron Man, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
Thor.
Yes.
First Avengers.
Yes.
That's phase 1. We're
Yeah,
good?
done.
Okay.
Locked in. Phase 2, Iron Man 3.
Thor: The Dark World.
Yes.
Winter Soldier.
Uh-huh.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Age of Ultron. Ant-Man.
Yeah, perfect. Nailed it.
Then on to phase 3. Civil War, Doctor Strange.
It starts with Civil War?
It starts with Civil War.
Okay, and then goes like Doctor Strange,
Guardians. I'm looking at the list.
Oh, Guardians
then it's
2,
like
then Spider-Man.
then Homecoming, then
Yeah.
Ragnarok, then Black Panther,
Right, and then Avengers 3, and then
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man 2, Captain Marvel,
Uh-huh.
and then Avengers 4.
Yes.
Okay, great.
And then Far From Home.
That's right. I keep forgetting that's part of Phase 3.
That's right.
Should have ended with Infinity War.
You know
or
what?
no, Endgame.
So I would say pretty good, but those are like the
These are the
ABCs
easy
of
ones.
Marvel movies.
Yes.
Getting it past Far From Home, I think we would struggle a bit.
And imagine if we had to fold the TV shows into this.
Impossible.
All right. We were accompanied today by pianist Kyle Shaw. Did we succeed in this? Was that a success or was that a failure? How did we do?
I a qualified success.
Very good. That's not with the sound cue
No,
that
I'll
I meant
take
to
it.
bring.
I'll take
I'll take
the applause. Okay, the theme of this week's news is delays.
Delays.
Starting with the opening of the Donkey Kong Country themed expansion of Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Japan.
Yeah.
Originally, earlier this year, they were doing all the PR, setting up events around Japan, promoting the opening of Donkey Kong Country in Super Nintendo World in spring 2024.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a few months. Nobody heard an update,
Right.
a specific opening date or anything.
We're to the end of April now. That's basically the end of spring.
And so just last week, Universal Studios now says that the area will be opening in fall 2024. They didn't provide any other information. Construction seems to be super far along, and the main roller coaster has been testing for a while. So I feel like the two most likely things are that they ran into technical issues with the roller coaster, because it's supposed to be it looks and sounds like it's going to be very fun. It's
Yes.
it's based on the minecart levels in Donkey Kong Country, and it's a new type of roller coaster where the track that you see below you is fake and the actual rail that the car is riding on is on the side of it. And so they can make it look like you're actually doing the jumps, and that there's like
that there are breaks in the track.
breaks in the track. So maybe they've run into technical issues with that, or maybe they decided Tokyo Disneyland, the second theme park there, Tokyo Disney Sea, is opening an enormous expansion in June.
Yes.
And so maybe they
Getting
decided to get out of the way of that, especially if they couldn't open in early spring. They're like, do you know what? We'll just wait.
I think it's also possible that third option, King K. Rool stole all of Donkey Kong's bananas, and so like they can't track him down. He won't hear a reason. He's just trying to get his bananas back.
Well, here's the I mean, I think that's 99% probably true,
Right.
but too embarrassed to put it into a press release.
Yes.
Donkey Kong's got to
Hard
save
to
face.
explain. Yeah.
Especially it's like you've beat AK Rool 3 times. And
Right.
you still don't get those bananas on lock.
You got to keep him on lock.
But the land seems to be based on the Nintendo developed, or I guess like retro developed games.
So more of a tropical freeze /
Yeah, because it looks like
Returns
the
vibe.
tikis are present in the land and like no Kremlings.
Gotta say, that's a better vibe for like a hangout space. Like I would rather there be those tiki guys or like the Cold Squad or whatever the penguins are called, than Kremlings, right? Kremlings, I think, a fine villain. I don't really want them to be, hanging out by me while I'm eating mushroom soup or whatever.
Yeah. So that's one delay. Probably banana soup in the Donkey Kong Country area.
Do they? Are there going to be concessions that are Donkey Kong themed?
There must be.
What the nightmare it must be to be like, okay, what else can we do with a banana? Because you can't have anything on that menu that doesn't include banana, right?
Right.
What would be the point?
What else does Donkey Kong like?
It ties.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because mushrooms you can work with.
Yeah. Also odd, though. Like, I gotta say, like, pretty odd that they're like, we've got this child's character who's connected to a food, sort of, that, like, kids hate.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's a weird sell. It's a hard
really,
sell.
Sonic the Hedgehog would have it locked down. Chili dogs.
Yeah, kids love rings.
Yeah, kids love rings. Delicious, deep-fried, oily rings.
Should we check out the Sonic the Hedgehog menu at Denny's?
Yeah, we should.
We should go. We should get the
not even for content. We should just do
we should just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this.
Let's get a squad together.
Let's do it, and like it'll be another like crossover with Video Games, a Comedy Show, but we don't record anything about it. Right.
Another delay.
Delay number 2.
Level 5, the company responsible for the upcoming Deca Police, Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, and the new Professor Layton game, and more, announced last November that they'd be holding an online event in April 2024 called Level 5 Vision 2024 to the World's Children.
To the World's Children is part of the name of the event.
Yes.
That wasn't just like a poetic flourish saying that they were releasing this event to the children.
No.
To the Children is part of the name of the thing.
Yeah. Sounds like a We Are the World.
Yeah, it's a benefit song for sure. Yes.
However,
Quincy Jones is there.
However, that event has now been delayed to sometime in the summer.
There was a sign above the door that said "Leave your ego at the door" of the recording booth for "We Are the World."
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a sign because it's like the biggest musicians in the world.
Yeah.
So there was a sign being like, "Hey, look, we're all rock stars here, but we're trying to do the same thing together."
Yeah, we're doing it for the kids.
Do you think that sign made any effect? Had any effect on anyone?
I wonder.
Someone was about to throw a tantrum, and we're like, "No, well, no."
Maybe as they were walking in.
Yeah.
Right. I would like to think it touched somebody's heart.
Sure.
They internalized it.
Cyndi Lauper walked in and was like...
Cyndi Lauper probably, if of the squad, I think Cyndi Lauper was probably the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was touched by it.
Level 5.
Level 5. What is going on with them?
I don't... Yeah. So, well, wait. We're saying they're supposed to have this event, but it's been delayed.
It's been delayed.
Yeah.
Which just adds to the cascade of delays the Level 5 has been experiencing in the past couple of years. So that Fantasy Life game was originally announced to release in 2023, now has a release date of October 10th, 2024.
Which isn't quite November 2nd, but is still very far away.
Yeah, we were trying to remember last week other Switch games that we knew about that had release dates later in the year, and this is one of them. I'd totally forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Deca Police, also originally supposed to be 2023.
Yes.
Most recently, we heard maybe 2024.
I remember the language around that being sort of wishy-washy, too.
And, the rumors is that they've completely just, rebooted it.
Yeah.
So, who knows when we're seeing Deca Police.
Feeling like vaporware at this point.
And then there's this Inazuma 11 game that's now called Victory Road. This is there's an anime. So Level 5 does the for a long time was trying to do multimedia releases.
Mm-hmm.
Basically follow the Pokemon kind of idea. So, Level 5 is also responsible for the
Ni no Kuni?
Yes, but
and the Yokai Watch.
Yokai Watch. That's what I was trying to think. And there was a Yokai Watch anime in Japan, and then there were the Yokai Watch games. Inazuma 11 is a soccer anime that exists.
Got it.
And the game the series that this game was supposed to tie into released in Japan in 2018. This game was originally announced in 2016 with a totally different title, has gone through like 4 different titles and an equal number of release dates. Now, sometime supposedly released in 2024. But basically, this game could really likely go the entire Switch generation
and just miss the whole thing.
and just not be released.
Yeah, something's going on at level 5. I wonder. Remember how like much it seemed like Nintendo was during the 3DS era, like trying to convince Western audiences that Yokai Watch was something that they wanted to get into, and just like failing at every possible opportunity. Where it's just like, no, we don't care. We don't know what a yokai is. That doesn't make sense to us.
I think the anime. I want to say it did air on like Disney XD or something like that.
But I feel like there are pockets of fandom for just about everything, right? Like you see them on Twitter and Reddit and wherever, and I feel like I just don't encounter Yokai Watch fans.
Yeah. Also, the series was really big in Japan.
Really big in Japan, yes.
And then I think also has just kind of like lost its fan base as well. It was a mismanaged franchise.
Sure.
Yeah, but
should we go back to talking about the MCU?
But like level 5, I was just remembering the other day when we talk about Dragon Quest 9,
yeah,
like Sentinels of the Starry Sky for the Nintendo DS. There were a number of Dragon Quest games that were developed by Level 5 before Dragon Quest was brought in-house by Square Enix. Like, Level 5 used to be a developer of note, and I feel like they've just kind of squandered that.
Yeah. It's sad to see.
Delay number 3.
Delay!
This is like a mini delay. Braid Anniversary Edition is seeing a small delay. It was originally planned for April 29th. That was the most recent announced release date, but it is getting bumped a few weeks and will now release on May 14th.
Why? Does it seem crazy that a game that is like a decade old at this point, for its anniversary edition, that's probably it. I'm gonna guess exactly 10 years old. Like why delay that at all? It's got to be more than 10 years old. Actually, it's got to be like 15.
Maybe it's logistics of some sort. Maybe they're waiting for certification on a platform, and so something like that. I don't know.
I like Braid a lot. I was not necessarily looking for another reason to play it. It is very much a game that you play once. Like you experience the puzzles, you figure out, or you experience the story, you figure out the puzzles, and that's sort of your time with it. But it's good.
It's also been so long since I've played it.
So long, yeah.
That I remember the story and I remember moments of the gameplay, but the majority of the levels would be at this point be playing it for the first time, basically.
The last time I played Braid was the day that I moved into my first apartment in Los Angeles, and all I had was the PlayStation 3, a TV, a cooler, and a sleeping bag. And the TV was set up on top of a cooler in my apartment on Gramercy, and I sat on a sleeping bag and played all the way through Braid.
It's a pretty good last time to have played Braid.
Yeah, it's a great last time to have played Braid.
All right, now we're into the non-delay.
No more delays.
News portion. Tales of the Shire.
Let's talk about it.
A Lord of the Rings game was revealed with a trailer releasing fall 2024.
So we had sort of known that this game was like out there in the ether, but with no real like details as to like what it looks like or what the game actually is.
Yeah, so it seems like it's a Story of Seasons / Harvest Moon / Stardew Valley, but with hobbits and a focus on food.
Which, hey, what a pitch, right?
Absolutely.
Like Animal Crossing, but with hobbits.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I also love the story of it is that you are a hobbit and you're setting up your home in a place called Bywater, which is not officially part of Hobbiton yet. Yes. Could be annexed.
Perhaps if you spruce it up. Oh, you think you can be annexed? It could be, spruced up enough
Uh-huh.
that those snooty hobbits over in Hobbiton will like welcome you in.
Annex you.
Yes, it's all very exciting. Let's talk a little bit about the art style here.
Yes. Yes.
So I feel like there's a gulf between the art style of like the world and these hideous goblins that they're calling hobbits.
The
Hobbits.
faces.
The
faces are letting
something going on.
Letting the
there.
art style down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Initially, when I feel like when Harvest Moon and now Story of Seasons transitioned to 3D, it lost a little bit of charm.
Yeah.
And I feel like Stardew Valley, it was very successful in bringing back the pixel art style of these games. I understand why for Tales of the Shire, they didn't want to do kind of like a Super Nintendo throwback pixel art, partly because it's like, hey, if like I want to see the Shire, or sorry, Bywater. You know, I want to see it.
Well, this is Tales
right.
of the Shire, so the Shire is like the
Shire.
greater, yes.
But I want to see the Shire like rendered, right? I want to be able to explore the Shire in 3D.
Yeah.
So I absolutely understand the desire to do it, but yeah, the faces or just the art style and the hobbits themselves, disappointing.
This game is being developed by Weta Digital, like the company.
Weta Workshop.
Weta Workshop. So the company that does the like special effects in like anything even remotely Peter Jackson related, and a bunch of other stuff too. They're like Skywalker sound basically at this point, but for special effects. So, which like, do they have a pedigree of making games?
And I don't know. So this is like Weta Workshop, and I don't know. I want to say that the special effects arm is like Weta Digital.
That's
so
a great point.
I don't know if this is a different venture within Weta. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So there's that, but then it's also like, what's going on with the rights to Lord of the Rings stuff right now? Because like, obviously Amazon owns a slice, and I think it's explicitly a slice that's not represented in the New Line Cinema movies.
Right.
And those like specific designs they're technically not allowed to use, but Rings of Power looks a lot like the Lord of the Rings movies. So I don't. And then the Embracer Group evidently recently broke up into 3 different entities, one of which is like the Lord of the Rings software group, but this isn't part of that.
Yeah. The rights, yeah. It seems like it's been a mess for a while and is even messier now.
So I guess like the thing that I'm driving at here is like in the trailer we see, like you say, sort of like flyover of the Shire, and it is a beautiful pastoral thing, and I want to hear
totally.
But like whoever owns those rights, is not making this game. So yeah, it's a weird. What do you think? We're obviously so far away from this game coming out fall 2024, though. Maybe not that long. We'll be playing it before we're playing ANTONBLAST. But I don't know. Are you interested in this? Like,
the idea is appealing.
The idea rocks. But what you saw those goblin faces.
Yeah, that was a tough sell.
Faces are a tough sell. Also, they walk crazy. They walk like their feet are too big, which they are, but like it looks like they're actors wearing feet that are too big for them. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All
right. Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes releases today. We talked about it a little bit earlier. And the game's director, Yoshitaka
Murayama?
Yes, thank you. Passed away earlier this year. Murayama also directed the classic Konami RPGs Suikoden and Suikoden 2. And so fans have been wondering about the Eiyuden Chronicles, the future of the franchise with his death. And during a recent Reddit AMA, a representative of Rabbit and Bear Studios, the development team for 100 Heroes, had this to say, quote, "We are moving forward with a sequel. It is very sad that Murayama is not with us anymore. We have discussed many things with him. I hope we will be able to carry on Murayama.
Yeah,
thank you. legacy, and I always want to treasure his last work. I hope many people will support this game.
So it sounds like they are still interested in pursuing a sequel, and have talked to the man himself about what that should look like.
Yeah. Finally, the results are in for last weekend's special Springfest, Splatfest in Splatoon 3.
Murayama.
Ooh, tongue twisters here at the end. Players had to choose which fuzzy fluffiness, funny was not in there. Which fuzzy fluffiness do you like most? And the choices were baby chicks, lil bunnies, or bear cubs.
Right.
When we talked about this,
yeah.
I was bear cubs. You were
I
lil
believe
bunnies.
I was lil bunnies. Yeah.
Team Bear Cubs ended up winning with 485 points. Despite the lead Little Bunnies had at halftime, they ended up finishing in third place.
Well, you know what are you gonna do? I like Lil Bunnies. And you went with Bear Cubs.
Bear Cubs.
Because we said the chicks get out of here.
Yeah, just not for me.
Yeah. Well, all right, another Splatfest in the books. Mark, let's close this out. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. If you would like to join our Discord, email us for an invitation. We'll let you in. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying thank you for listening. Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spider-Man. I thought I could do a bunch.